exhaustion.
Oh,
We're
fabulous.
good.
Yeah, sounds like you're doing really good.
Like you just changed.
So, Infinity is coming out in May 4th, 2018. And there's been 2 viewings of the trailer and not much more for the fans. Have you guys seen the trailer? What have you guys seen of the film? And what can you tell us? Probably
Right now,
nothing.
we're just wondering if we're in the film.
You know what? That's a good point because Marvel.
It's a D23, I think that's when we saw it.
No, I just saw a new one.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, it's badass.
You did see a new one,
I
and
just saw a new one
it's badass.
on Joe Russo's phone. Yeah, and it's amazing.
Well, that's
Yeah,
good.
that's good to know.
So there is a trailer that exists, a new one.
Yeah, and it'll be out, you know, and everybody will love it, and it's amazing.
So since we know how Marvel is with their lockdown on information, secrets, everything, if you could sum up the movie in one word, what would it be? Yeah, one word. No
Captain
spoilers, though.
Bizarro. I guess that's 2 words. I don't. Listen. It's epic. I mean, that's what it is. It's just epic. I mean, everything, almost every scene in that movie is going to be an epic scene. You know how you have the movies, and then you get to like the 3rd act, and it's sort of like this is the moment. Well, that moment is going to be happening throughout that entire film, from beginning to end.
Yeah, it's the biggest movie I've ever seen or worked on. In the mornings, I get up pretty early to go and get all of that makeup stuff on, and I remember we were driving down one time, and I knew we were shooting out in the countryside somewhere, and I was like, it's supposed to be in the middle of nowhere, and there was a town, like a bunch of lights, and I was like, well, we're going into a town. It really looked like a city, you know. And it was just the trailers, and it was it's so big.
Well, I think at one point, I think that it was reported there were 64 main cast members. And so when you're...
It literally looked like the Roman army that camped outside of a city that it was about to invade.
I believe you.
But with air conditioning.
And Apple TV.
Yeah.
And this is nearly the 10th anniversary of the MCU. And Paul, you've been there from pretty much the beginning in 2008 with Jarvis. Did you ever imagine that it would explode in this kind of way?
No, actually what happened was, my involvement started was Jon Favreau rung me up and he said, I need somebody to play the voice of a computer. So I was thinking about who has absolutely no personality at all. You came to mind, and I said, thanks, John, and that was how it sort of began for me. And I had no idea. And the next thing that happened was I just had a meeting with a producer who told me that my career was over, and I really, I stood up to him and said, look, lots of people have second acts in this town. And I walked out, my legs went, and I sat on the curb on the Sunset Boulevard there, and I thought, my God, maybe my career's over. And then my phone rang, and I took out my phone, and I answered it, and it was Joss Whedon. He went, you want to play the Vision? I went, yeah, I really do. It's a true story, so that's how
That is such an amazing story. And the thing that I love every aspect of that, but then when Joss asked you that and you started developing the character, didn't he say kind of throw out everything that you've worked on with Jarvis and bring a new sort of interpretation?
No, not really. We wanted to start somewhere in between, and then for him to become more and more human. Was the idea, and that continues in this these movies.
And
Why don't you talk?
Because
I'm ready to ask him a
I'm
question.
still getting over the fact that you weren't real in A Beautiful Mind.
I know.
Whoever this producer is, let me tell you, he's swimming with the sharks right now, that's for sure.
Listen, a incredible performance, by the way. Okay, Sebastian, your turn. Between Bucky and Winter Soldier, and now you're sort of in between the character. How do you approach, playing each, essentially 3 sort of different characters?
Well, it's a little bit like Christmas Day for me in the sense that I never know what they're gonna decide and what they're gonna do, and I'm not sure they know half the time. But yeah, I don't know. It's kind of fun to sort of have it, go both ways. So I guess that sounds funny, but it's the truth.
It's also, you, I don't know about you, maybe it's different for you, but I go to see the movies and go, oh wow, that's what we were doing. Oh, oh, that's what we were doing. Oh yeah.
Well, this particular movie's been a little bit like that. It's been, every other time I've said I didn't know what was going on. I kind of knew, a little bit, but like now I really don't know what's going on. Now I really do not know what's going on. I went to set the other day, about a week ago. I was just telling Paul, and I showed up there in costume on the day, and I read the scene that we were about to shoot for the first time. So, I guess that was some real acting.
I remember the first in the first one I was in as Vision. They turned up, a security guard turned up with a script. I went, oh, thanks very much, and signed for it. He went away, and I read it. And then the next day, a security guard turned up with a new draft, and I went, oh, thanks very much. I signed it, and then I read that one. About 3 days later, a security guard turned up with it, and I got to about draft 9. I just stopped reading them. Just sign, and then just wait for the next one and so on.
I'm always worried that they're around and they have your name on them, and I know I can't lose them. Like if I lose them, then it's it's my name on them, and then it's my fault. And I always think I'm going to lose one of them.
Well, I made a really big fuss, and they were like, no, you can't have, this one is just going to be on an iPad, and you're only going to be able to read it, in a special. And I went, look, I'm not a child. I need the script. It's not like, I'm 46 years old. I'm not going to, lose the thing. And then I got off the aeroplane having left it in the thing. And I went, oh my God. And so I went to this guy and I went, you have to do me this huge favor. You've got to get back on the plane. You've got to get this thing. And I can't believe I'm telling you. I'm probably about to get fired. But I totally left it on the plane, having just gone, I'm an actor, I'm not a child.
And there it was left
2
behind.
gin and tonics later.
I'm sure you guys have questions, so line up in the aisles if you do, and we'll try to get through as many of you guys as we can. And while they do that, both your characters were introduced early in the comics, and when you were cast or when you knew you were in consideration for the role, did you go to the origin material and study up on the characters, or did you just have a fresh take, or how did that play?
We had to. It's the I feel like you kind of have to. It's the only thing we have, is background, right?
That's all there is. But you do also have. I think the success of these movies is largely to do with that they are made by fans. And Kevin Feige, the people making these movies are doing what they were doing at 13 years old, with action figures, just at a heightened level. And so you were surrounded by the kind of Yodas of comic books. If you have a question, you go to Kevin Feige, he's got the answer. Which is pretty great. It means we can be lazy.
I don't picture either of you as lazy.
Yeah, I don't know. I always wonder about you though, because I know you need like 3 hours, right, for them when they put on the makeover.
It used to be 3 hours. Now it's like 90 minutes and then half an hour to get into the costume. A pair of Spanx. Some lifts.
Yeah, very tight.
Hi, we'll start over here. Hi.
Hey, how are you?
There we go. All right. So this question is for Sebastian. So throughout all the Captain America movies, there was a lot of foreshadowing. You know, you taking over the Captain America mantle. I was just wondering if you think that would be the way that was going, and would it be something you'd be interested in doing?
That's a good question. We can't answer that.
I mean, of course, I have my own opinions about what I'd love to see happen. I've definitely expressed them to some of the, some people out there. I still think I need to figure some things out. The Black Widow, for example. That would be my vote out there in the world, But there's still a lot that needs to be explored. Look, I mean, here's the thing. You only have 2.5 hours to tell these stories. I mean, you've got comic books that span for years, right? So it's pretty amazing what they've been able to do so far in giving you 2.5 hours here and to kind of catch everybody up. So there's still going to be a lot of work there to be done, but I'm up for whatever they throw my way.
Awesome. All right, thank you.
Thank you. Hi.
Hello, question for Paul. So Vision being only 2 movies old, as I'm going to put it, and how in Age of Ultron he just picks up Thor's hammer. So what do you think makes Vision so suddenly worthy of Thor's hammer?
Worthy of Thor's hammer?
Yes.
Well, I don't know. That's sort of a mystery. I guess it's because he's pure of heart. But now he's been on Earth a few more years. I doubt he could pick up Thor's hammer. There's that whole, Scarlet Witch thing going on.
Thank you. It is interesting though, because his only moral compass is the one that he's given himself, in a way.
Yeah, I think he sort of worked out that loyalty isn't very logical. You know what I mean? It's to do with love. So he's sort of trying to figure out what that is, and
Absolutely.
maybe he's going to figure that out.
Hi.
I just wanted to say to Sebastian Stan that thank you, because you've been really helpful, and if not because of you, I might not be here today. Thank you.
Wow. Thank you for sharing that. That took a lot of courage. Thank you. Hi.
Okay. Hello. So first of all, I want to say thank you guys so much for being part of these movies. They mean so much to me. I wrote my college essay about the Avengers, and so thank you so much for being a part of that. My question, I guess, is technically for Sebastian, and about how you weren't really allowed to read much of the script before you got to film. So what was it like not knowing what exactly you were doing until you were doing it?
It's not. I don't know. It's not something we always deal with. I feel like you always kind of have a script, but I guess what I would say is because we've done these characters a bit now, it seems to me like there's a little bit of a telepathic kind of sort of knowledge between us and the writers, and you kind of can sometimes guess where they're going to take it a little bit, but it's scary sometimes because you're always coming back to, I mean, for example, this one was really hard because we keep going in and out. I go back there for a week, and then I leave for a month, and then I go back there again for a few more days, and so it's a little bit out of sync, but it still hopefully adds up in the end. We'll see.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm sure it'll add up. I mean, that's the beauty of having so many great minds on one project. Yeah. Hi.
Hi, gentlemen. Thank you for coming this weekend. I know your schedules have been really busy. Okay, my question is for Mr. Stan. I know in between doing the Marvel projects, you've worked with some pretty impressive directors, Ridley Scott, Darren Aronofsky, Steven Soderbergh, just to name a few.
And I appreciate that. Sorry to interrupt, but the only thing I want to point out is he actually has characters in those movies. I usually have a good solid under 5 lines. but yeah.
Yeah, but they are great lines. So there you go.
I love this guy.
Anyway, my question was, off the top of your head, who are the top 3 directors you'd like to work with, and what kind of character would you like to play?
Oh, Jesus. Oh, well, I guess David or Russell is a good one. I wouldn't mind working, really getting to work with Darren Aronofsky maybe, and I don't know. Actually, the filmmaker who's doing the movies, The Lobster and The Killing of the Sacred Deer, I can't pronounce his name, which maybe that's why I'll never be in one of his movies, but he's really great.
Do you know him? No, nobody does.
Okay, and just one last comment. My wife has your episode of Law & Order on permanent record. You play a great nerd.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Hi.
Hi. This question is for both Paul and Sebastian. What has been your favorite acting job you have ever had in your career?
Isn't that a bit like picking your favorite child? Or...
No, really, mine was above a pub. It really was. It was above a pub. It was a play by Joe Penhall. There were 3 people in it. I was one of them, and we got the Tories out. It was, 1997, and we were doing this play, and we got the Conservatives out, and we had a Labour government, and for about 5 seconds we thought everything was going to change, and then of course it didn't, but they were a great 5 seconds. And the show above this pub that held like 25 seats was extended, and it was like a monster hit for a pub. And it was the best of times. Really, it was wonderful. You thought everything was possible, and it was wonderful.
This is what role you play that we're answering?
No,
Yeah.
what was your favorite acting job? It was
yeah.
mine was above a pub. It was a play above a pub called Love and Understanding by Joe Penhall. So he's written Mindhunters. Mindhunters? Yeah, I mean, he's a brilliant writer. And it was like one of his first plays.
Yeah, I mean, I think I'll go with plays too. I mean, I've only gotten to do 2 plays really professionally, and they were both unbelievable experiences, because it's this thing that even like you get a little bit whiff of it even right now. It's like, we're up here and you're there, like we kind of feel each other, and then you guys react to something we do, and then we're inspired to react away from you, and so it's like that back and forth that I really miss sometimes.
Yep.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Guys, I know this sounds crazy, but we are running out of time because this panel started late. So, and these guys have flights to catch. So we're gonna do what we call the rapid fire round. Yes or no questions, unless you guys don't all want to ask your questions, and I imagine you do, right? Yes? No?
Yeah.
Yes or no question? Let's go.
Some.
You're wasting time.
Dream roles or something? Hi, love you both. What would be your dream roles? Sorry.
Dream roles. Any
Oh my
character
God,
you want
that's
to play?
impossible. No. No, I know what you mean. I can't get. She's the first one. Everybody else has a yes or no answer except for her. I would like to continue through like 3, like in a franchise, through about like 8 of the movies. Get paid an insane amount of money.
I'll tell you real quick, you know what? I would still like to be in the Motley Crue biopic, and I've been trying to be in this movie now for 5-7 years. I went out for it twice a long time ago. I think now they're saying I can't do it, but if I could play Vince Neil, I definitely will. They're making it. It's going to be on Netflix.
That would be amazing. Okay, now are you ready? No.
How do you like each other's superpower and arm? What do you feel about
Yes.
Yes. Hi.
Sebastian, looking forward to I, Tanya in a few months. That's your second figure skating movie, I think.
I just keep getting close to that ice, I guess. I don't know.
And Paul, looking forward to, at the same time as Avengers, Han Solo.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's not a yes or no question. I know. You can't, this is a yes or no question. Can you tell me your character's name?
In Han Solo?
I'm not sure.
That's fine.
I'm not sure I won't get sued. Is the answer to that one. Yeah, no, I can't answer that, but I mean, you know, obviously, I'm a very cool intergalactic gangster. Obviously.
Thank you.
But by the way, I just want to piggyback on the last question. Thanks to you because you brought it up, and I may as well just say it here. But any time that anyone would like to call me and ask me about Luke Skywalker, I would be very happy. Happy to join there. Join my father at any point in time.
And appropriately so. Yes, okay, we're gonna do one more question here, Go.
Sebastian, my girlfriend Julie is a huge fan of yours, and she would love it if you would just wave and say hi, Julie.
Hi, Julie.
Thank you.
Okay, first up, huge fans of both of your work, and a final question: do you think that you would like to do a crossover with any of the MCU TV shows?
I think some of them are great. I mean, I think, you know, if I'm not sure. I'm not sure what the next tranche of their sort of major plan is, but I mean, they are full of fantastic actors. So you know, sure, why not?
Woo!
The Punisher. I mean, there's so many great characters.
Absolutely. All right, you guys, it was a short and sweet panel, but you guys are amazing. Please give one more big round of applause. Guys, stay still if you want to be in a picture.
Drop the mic.
One.